Hello, America. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm Frank Morano, sitting in for John Tobacco, who will check in with us a little bit later. But everybody is talking about last night's Democratic presidential primary debate. And a lot of people had their eyes on Bernie Sanders because this was his first debate since having a heart attack and returning to the campaign trail. I'll tell you, Bernie seemed as energetic and vivacious as ever. He looked a heck of a lot more energetic than Joe Biden did, to be honest. And heart attack and all, that didn't slow him down from taking some shots at his favorite targets, millionaires and billionaires. This was Bernie Sanders last night at the debate in Ohio, courtesy of CNN.
The truth is, we cannot afford to continue this level of income and wealth inequality, and we cannot afford a billionaire class whose greed and corruption has been at war with the working families of this country for 45 years.
Here to help us break it down is Newsmax contributor and former Republican candidate for New York City Controller. He's got a whole bunch of other titles, but they're way too long to list. Our friend John Burnett. John, welcome.
Good to be here with you, Frank.
What did you think of the debate last night? What did you think of Bernie's performance?
I think it was a sleeper.
The debate as a whole, or just Bernie?
Just overall. As far as Senator Sanders, I think that, as you mentioned in the intro, I think that he showed a lot of energy, right? I think that the only disappointment I had, I like the Bernie with the messy hair.
Yeah,
right?
I did too. I did too.
Like, that adds to the optics and you know, his antics and so forth.
Well, like a mad scientist.
Exactly.
Look,
Like, he's really into it. He's really fighting for the people, so to speak.
So today, Bernie is here in New York. He's going to Queens to be endorsed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and at least one other member of the squad. I have to think this is a little bit of a blow to Elizabeth Warren. What do you think this means for Bernie's prospects electorally going forward?
I think he had to do it, right? When you look at what Senator Warren did a couple of months back, holding a rally in Washington Square Park, trying to really appeal to those millennials and the climate change and tree huggers and so forth. So I think just from a Democratic strategy, I think it's in his best interest, being the third person to try to make some grounds, pick up some ground in like states like New York and other states that, you know, can really bolster his presence.
Well, you know, it was interesting to see. This was the first debate that we saw Tom Steyer in, and he was the impeachment guy. He spent millions of dollars of his own money running these ads advocating for impeachment. Now, the rest of the Democratic Party seems to have caught up with him. They're all on the impeachment train. How do you think this impeachment inquiry is going to play out governmentally, legally, and politically?
Well, I think that governmentally, I think, as the speaker had pointed out, that she's not going to bring a vote to the floor, partly because she doesn't want to be embarrassed if it doesn't go the way that she thinks. But also strategically, from a Democratic perspective, they want the issue. They don't really want to solve it. So they want to really keep punting down the line, keep the Q&A going forward to try to make sure that they attempt to tarnish President Trump as much as possible. However, those that believe in process, those that believe in rule of law.
John, let me interrupt you because you sound like you're going to make a very, very pertinent point. And I'm told from Twitter user Mark Cagg that the audio sounds like you guys are in the can. So we're going to work on fixing your mic. In the meantime, I couldn't help but notice that you happen to be black. So I want to get your opinion on something Andrew Cuomo said on a radio show yesterday. Andrew Cuomo is the governor of New York. If you're lucky enough not to live under his rule, then you're not missing much. But this is what he said on a radio interview on WAMC yesterday. Here's Andrew Cuomo.
Times also said in an article the other day, apropos of nothing, they were talking about it, going back to the Italian Americans, because you now have me.
I read the article,
right? Yep. They used an expression that Southern Italians were called, I believe they were saying Southern Italians, Sicilians, I'm half Sicilian, were called, quote unquote, and pardon my language, but I'm just quoting the Times, N-word, as a derogatory comment. When I said that derogatory comment, that's when the Times Union told me, no.
John, I know you're a leader when it comes to policy in the New York State Republican Party. Certainly never been a fan of Andrew Cuomo. What did you think of those comments yesterday? Was it inappropriate of him to use the N-word? And what did you make of the manner in which he used it?
I like to bleep him entirely.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
But, I think it was poor judgment, lack of leadership, and
even though he was quoting a newspaper article,
still, I think, given his leadership, he's been in there for several terms. He should have, and he comes from a political family, right? His brother is from CNN, so there's a certain level of professionalism and comportment that is expected.
Well, nothing says professionalism and comportment like his brother over at CNN. We've seen what his idea of professionalism
But generally
is.
speaking, he should have shown a better wisdom and political prudence not to use that word and just say the N-word as far as N-word,
right? So he would have
and
said,
not actually say the word verbatim.
So he should have said, in the context that we just played, N-word wops, instead of saying the N-word.
Exactly. And I understand what he was saying.
Right, and I think it was a good point that he was making.
Absolutely.
Actually.
If I could tell a little short anecdote, when this is years ago, going back about 20 years, when I had a business trip to Idaho, Boise, Idaho, and it's not too many black professionals walking around in suits back then, right? So the person at the counter asked me, "Oh, what are you doing in Boise?" I said, "I'm here on a business trip. The next stop is Coeur d'Alene, Idaho." She happened to be Italian, and she says, "Oh, be careful when you go to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because my husband, who is Sicilian, Southern Italian, he's darker than I am. And we had a business there, and we were chased out of town." So I understood what he was saying.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
What he was saying had merit. The words in which he chose to express it and giving validity to the N-word was a huge indiscretion and poor taste of judgment.
I mean, it's not as if he was calling someone the N-word. It's not. You still think that word's verboten, no matter the context.
Absolutely. See, he is political. Mm-hmm. New York Times, their editorial, completely two different worlds.
Right, well, that's for sure. Okay, finally, I want to get your take on, just to finish where we are in terms of impeachment. Apparently, there's now been a fourth man arrested that was in business somehow with these Giuliani associates. There are reports that Giuliani himself might be under investigation from the Southern District. Do you think, this war of words between John Bolton and Rudy Giuliani going back and forth, do you think this heat, for lack of a better description, on Giuliani is going to come back to hurt the president politically?
Time will tell. I'm not a lawyer. However, there are some very key nuggets of information that Mayor Giuliani was able to unearth. And I think that the lawmakers should not allow all the additional noise in the background take their eyes off the ball of the facts that he has unearthed and really go down that path. Let the facts lead them to where it should go to make sure that we actually bring the highest level of standards and ethics to our electoral process.
As we sit here today, give me a prediction. Who's the Democratic nominee for president going to be?
I don't know. I think there's going to be a dark horse in the race that actually bubbles up.
Really? Is it Mike Bloomberg?
It could be.
Is it
could
Michelle
be.
Obama?
Look. It won't be Michelle Obama.
Okay.
It might be Mayor Bloomberg, and it also might be Secretary Clinton.
Well,
I think she's in the background saying, you know what? There is no way that she's going to allow Senator Warren to be the first woman nominated.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see. I'd love to hear your take on that. Find us on Twitter at Liquid Lunch TV. Will Hillary Clinton get into this race? That would certainly, I think, be music to the ears of Donald Trump. All right, we're going to talk healthcare. We may check in with John Tobacco from Florida. The crypto cowboy is going to give us his take on Libra. John Burnett, we'll see you next week. You got to come back soon. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm Frank Morano. We'll be right back after this.